What is going on, Dragon Ball fans? Welcome back to another episode of Dragon Ball Q&A, where today we have lots of awesome questions to go through. And before we begin, guys, I do also want to say that the questions that you guys see in the video are also going to be reflected onto you guys. So in case your opinion differs from mine, or if you have anything to add on to the video or to the questions, go ahead and comment down below. And of course, if you guys have any questions to ask me for the next Q&A video, post your comments down below. And again, if you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. That way you guys are always up to date with Dragon Ball news, information, updates, and discussions. So without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and begin with the very first question of the day, which is from Travis Rampage. Yo Alex, what's up? I just wanted to say, because of these Dragon Ball Q&A videos, I went back and I watched Dragon Ball Z and Kai, and I must say I love engaging with your viewers, with the exception of those who argue with me and over others with GT and power scaling. Well, there have been a lot of arguments in the comment section lately about GT and Super, but I have some questions for you and your audience. And by the way, Super is better than GT. Get over it, GT tards. Ooh man, there's gonna be a riot down in the comments. Question number one, what are your personal thoughts on Hit? Do you think Hit will work together with Goku to help fight the Pride Troopers before fighting each other? If you think about it, I don't think Hit will let anyone throw Goku out so easily, because he needs Goku to improve more, right? So wouldn't Hit want to get his fix with Goku before throwing him out himself? That's a very interesting concept. Question number two, Gohan will win it all for his team. Don't argue with me, don't at me, don't debate me, because Gohan is the most overlooked character in the entire tournament, because everyone thinks Goku and Vegeta will tank it. Well, guess what? They won't. Why? Because half-breeds thrive on emotion, unlike Goku and Vegeta. So if Gohan is backed into a corner, he will truly unleash his true power. So my question is, can Ultimate Gohan stand up to Toppo, if not Jiren, in terms of skills and brains? Question three, what if Goku does unlock a new form but gets thrown out with Jiren like a double ring out? Is that a good way to even Goku out without having to make him look like Superman Prime? Because that's what Goku is. Thank you, Alex, and may you have a perfect day. Well, thank you so much, Travis. Well, there's a lot to say. Now, to answer your first question, I do think that Hit definitely wants to improve with Goku, and if you look at the Universal Tournament between Universe 6 and 7, Hit was able to match up against Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 10 and even use time skip against that. That's not bullshit, that's actual fact. That's irrefutable factual evidence. When Goku used Kaioken Blue times 10 against Hit was even able to time skip that. And even at that very point, Hit was improving. Just think about that. Hit was improving as he was fighting Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 10 Goku. So I think what may happen here is, if Hit is a part of this tournament, in which case he will be, once he's there, I think that Goku and Hit, they're going to be fighting their own individual characters until at some point they kind of lock eyes onto each other, and right before they engage, I feel as if a couple of more people might intervene and they might try to take on Hit or Goku, and at some given point I could see Goku and Hit kind of like working side by side and fighting off the other people, not more or less working together, but kind of having each other's backs, to where Goku fights on one side, Hit fights on the other, and then when they level out the field, they turn around, and that's when they begin to fight. Now, don't get me wrong, I would love to see Hit versus Jiren versus Goku in a massive triple threat kind battle, because then you don't know what to expect. It's like if Hit punches Goku, Jiren can punch out Hit while Goku comes back at Jiren, and it's like a three-way battle. So I can see Hit kind of needing Goku in a way, even though I think that at this very point, Hit kind of needs Goku in an essence to improve his powers, because even prior to Universe 6 versus Universe 7, we saw how Hit even said, wow, I admire you because you were actually able to allow me to improve far beyond my own limits. So Hit actually considered Goku to be a worthy adversary, because not only was Hit able to improve, but fight someone who was equal to or stronger than him. So I can definitely see, you know, Hit trying to get his fix with Goku, but that's very scary, because what if Goku and Hit do end up fighting and Hit keeps improving and improving and improving and improving, and Goku does use a new form, or he does unlock a new technique, and guess what? Hit keeps on improving and improving and improving. Hit's gonna be a monster if that happens. If Hit is able to stand up against Goku for an X amount of time and he keeps on developing his time skip, that's gonna be a problem, not just for Goku, but everyone. But I do think that by the end of the day, will Hit throw Goku out? That is very unknown. It's highly likely, but at the same time, you have to ask yourself, how is Hit able to throw out Goku? What can he possibly do? At this very point, both Hit and Goku, when it comes to combat, they're very smart. So one is gonna have to outsmart the other. But in terms of Hit having to work together with Goku, especially against the Pride Troopers, I would definitely love to see that. But with that exception, you're gonna have to include Vegeta, and the reason for that is because you can't just have Goku and Hit do everything. You're gonna have to do Goku and Vegeta working together to fight the Pride Troopers. If you want to throw Hit in there, I mean, in an essence, it wouldn't really make sense because he's not a part of Team Universe 7. Why would he even care? If anything, he would try to fight both teams off himself, but at the end of the day, I can see them kind of, you know, nonchalantly working with each other for a short time before they end up fighting each other. Now, to answer your second question, you firmly believe that Gohan is going to win the tournament. Well, guess what? A lot of people would agree with you, but my thing is, what makes you believe that Gohan is going to outsmart and outlast everyone else? Yes, he isn't dumb. He's pretty smart, and he does have the skill set to actually last a very long time. Hence why Ultimate Gohan will return, and Ultimate Gohan will be at his strongest ever, and that's awesome because now Gohan's going to be at his peak when it comes to power. But in comparison to that power, how is he ever going to stand up against someone like Jiren, who is the strongest person in the 11th universe? And combine that, you know, Gohan's not as strong as a Super Saiyan Blue, so how is Gohan going to survive? The only way I can see him surviving is if he really does some, you know, down-to-earth dirty tactics to try to win. I mean, by any means necessary, outsmarting your opponent. Obviously enough, Gohan isn't going to kill anybody, but honestly speaking, it is possible, and it's very likely that Gohan could have his glorious moment in actually becoming the winner and, you know, being the sole survivor. People would go nuts and be happy. However, the probability of that happening is very low because Gohan is going to be up against not just Jiren, Toppo, and Hit, but various other fighters who are just as strong, or if not stronger than he is. So he's going to have to come up with some brilliant strategy on how to outmatch the other warriors because, you know, his ultimate form isn't as strong as a Super Saiyan God or a Super Saiyan Blue. So by the end of it, I can see him winning in an essence if he gets his chance. But by the end of the day, I think Gohan is not going to be the one to be the last man standing. For all we know, he could be one of the very first ones to go. You know, anything could happen. He's fighting warriors that he's never seen before or even dealt with. So it is possible that he may be eliminated early, or it may be possible that he may outlast everyone else and survive. I think that by the end of the day, it might either boil down to Goku or Vegeta. But in terms of Gohan, it's highly likely, but in terms of skill set, I don't know, like, everyone else is evenly matched with skill set. He's not the only smart one there, you know? And to answer your third question, if Goku does unlock a new form, have it be a double ring out. Now, if you want to protect the new form and Jiren, then yes, you can do a double ring out. But then how are you going to do that? Like, is Goku going to spear Jiren out the ring? Is Jiren going to grab Goku and, like, just toss himself out with Goku outside the ring? You're going to have to come up with a very clever way on how to do that. Like a double knockout maybe, or something else happens. But either way, if that were to happen, that would also mean that, okay, Jiren wasn't technically beaten by Goku. All that really happened was he got thrown out. But then again, anything is possible. Anything is possible in this tournament. Goku can knock out Jiren. Jiren can knock out Goku. They can both knock each other out. They can both do a double ring out. It's any man's ball game. However, I do think that if you want to conserve and you want to save and preserve the overall, you know, well-being of Jiren and keep him looking strong alongside Goku, then possibly doing a double, you know, ring out may make sense. But at the end of that, it's like, would that, you know, satisfy the fans? It's anyone's ball game if you ask me. But you're saying that Goku is the Superman Prime of the entire tournament. Well, so far, it looks like he's the most cocky one there, but I guarantee you once this actual tournament starts and that bell rings, everyone's gonna be on his ass because of what he's done. But in terms of him having to, you know, have a double ring out with Jiren, I don't know about that. For me, I definitely want to see one person knock the other out, but either way, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens in the coming weeks. So anyways, Mr. Travis, thank you so much for the questions, and I hope you have a perfect day, my friend. Now moving on to the next question, which is from Mike Black, aka SG. I watch all of your Q&A videos, thank you, man, and I like most of your answers. I have some good questions that nobody ever thought to ask. Shoot, brother. Question 1, how do you feel about the fact that Universe 7 can simply use the Dragon Balls to make the Z Fighters stronger, but they never did that, as to why? Question 2, wouldn't it make sense if everyone from Universe 7 carried a couple of sensu beans for the tournament so the weaker fighters would have a better chance. Question 3, shouldn't Goku ask someone else to recruit the team and take Gohan and Whis' staff to train, and they can make it clear there's no rules, so regardless of how their parents feel, shouldn't Trunks and Goten be recruited? They can fuse. If not, I think it'll be a good idea to have them fight and a point come where they are getting their asses beat and turn Super Saiyan 2. Then they can start off their character development. Also, they should have turned Super Saiyan 2 at least by now, seeing as they have their Zenkai boost and they've been using Super Saiyan for a while, and they should be fusing for a while, turning Super Saiyan 3. Okay, so you're using the concept of Gotenks here. How do you feel about them going Super Saiyan 2 at least on their own? And why Goku taught them how to use Super Saiyan 3 fusion, so why hasn't Goku and Vegeta trained them or showed them how to use Super Saiyan 2 yet? Alright, so you're talking about the concept of Super Saiyan 2 with Gotenks instead of Super Saiyan 3. Alright, well, to answer your first question, the reason why they haven't used the Dragon Balls to make the Z Fighters stronger is because that is the biggest cop-out ever. Think about this, right? Would you rather work hard to achieve something, or would you rather have someone just give it to you, and when it comes down to you actually using that power, you're not understanding the concept of how the fuck to use it? So any one of them can easily sit there and say, hey, let's get Shenron or Purunga to increase our powers. Okay, sure, that can happen. It's not impossible to say, but all of them have enough integrity and dignity and gratitude to say, you know what, forget that, we're gonna work hard to achieve that, because not only will we achieve a new power, but we'll also improve our skills, because without skills, your power ain't shit. You could be the strongest one there. If you have no skills, you're bound to get your ass whooped. So I think that by them simply using the Dragon Balls to get stronger, but they never did it, as to why is simply because of integrity. They don't want to go ahead and just, take the easy way out. So we're never going to see that. We're never ever going to see that. The only time we're ever going to get something close to that is if we see someone wish for immortality, i.e., Frieza, as he tried to do it, and Zamasu. Aside from that, there is no moral need in trying to wish for more power. Because wouldn't it make sense for you to wish for eternal life? Like, that makes more sense than wishing for to have a higher power. Now, to answer your second question, I don't think they can use sensu beans, because outside materials or outside objects are considered weapons. So just like the Potara earrings, I think the sensu beans cannot be used. So even if someone were to get their ass whooped, or if something were to happen, by no means do I think sensu beans are going to be allowed. So this is going to be a fight to where no weapons, no sensu beans, no nothing. You're on your own. No recovery, unless you know how to heal yourself. That is it. That's a technique that's allowed to be used. But in terms of a sensu bean going down and having to use that, I really doubt sensu beans will be implemented, because they're considered to be weapons. So there's no use in having them. Although, yeah, it'll be a smart thing to have them, because you can easily come back from a fight and just whoop ass. But the overall essence of not using weapons or outside objects means no sensu beans, no Potaras, no swords, none of that. Like, none of that stuff. Like, all that stuff is out on the outside. So now, to answer your third question, Gotenks. Number one, Gotenks would be way too immature to be in this tournament. Yes, I think that Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks would be really awesome to see, and he can use his Super Ghost Kamikazes to, ring out people, and he can use his Galactic Donut and all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, it'll be cool and it'll work, but the one thing that separates them is the timer, because they only have about 30 minutes to an hour, and their immaturity levels. Why in the world are you going to have Goten and Trunks a part of this tournament if they haven't received the proper training? Now, yes, I understand you can go inside of Whis' staff and you can train there, but you have to think about Goku and Vegeta going in that staff the first time. They felt so overwhelmed. Those boys wouldn't last. Yes, don't get me wrong, I want to see Goten and Trunks develop as characters. For the love of God, they've been 11 years old now for 15 years. Stop. Let them mature. Let them grow up. But as of now, they haven't really been training. If anything, Trunks has been the only one training, but that's not even saying much. So if Gotenks was in this tournament, yes, he would be a problem, but someone would bitch him out. Someone would bitch him out, and he would get either separated, or he would simply be, thrown out due to his immaturity. Like, he would brag about, oh yeah, I'm whooping ass, I'm eliminating people, but then at some point, someone's gonna catch him off guard, and then boom, he's gone. So either way, in terms of Super Saiyan 2, there's no need to go Super Saiyan 2. you know, if you know Super Saiyan 3, especially in the state of fusion. Now, if you're talking about as individuals, surely enough, I think it's possible for Goten and Trunks to reach Super Saiyan 2 at this point, because they've been Super Saiyans now for so long. Surely enough, if they've received enough training, they can become Super Saiyan 2s. But even with Super Saiyan 2, that's no match for people like Hit and, you know, Jiren and all these dudes. Hell no. You throw these boys in there and they would get slaughtered. So that's just my take on it, at least. So anyways, Mr. Mike, thank you so much for the questions, and I hope you have a great day, my friend. Now moving on to the next question, which is from Ruthie Forberg. Hey Alex, first off, I wanted to say thank you for the amazing content you make. Thank you so much for inspiring me, actually. Like, you guys are the ones that inspire me. I swear to God, you guys do. Without you guys, I wouldn't be motivated to do anything, so I have to be thanking you. You really know how to satisfy us. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much for the kind words. I have a couple of questions for your Q&A. Question number 1, do you think the 6 universes that were supposedly destroyed will play a part in Dragon Ball Super, like possibly in an upcoming arc after this one? Question 2, do you think the universe survival arc will conclude after the tournament ends and the filler episodes in the end of each arc, or will there be a new threat / problem? Question 3, if Jiren were to get character development, what personality do you think he has? A very quiet person, or would he act like Toppo does? Oh god, no. Question 4, since Bra would be a Dragon Ball and Super character, will she have the same amount of screen time as Pan in your opinion? Okay, well, to answer your first question, this is what I think, right? If by some chance, if by some miracle of God chance, Goku does win, and Goku gets the Dragon Balls, and Goku says to, you know, the dragon, he says, bring back all of the universes that the Omni King destroyed, right? Remember what I just said there? I just said, bring back all the universes that the Omni King destroyed, right? Goku never specified only during this tournament. So if the dragon takes that into consideration and says, okay, Goku said to bring back the other universes that were destroyed by the Omni King, I think that at that point, if he were to bring back all the universes destroyed at the tournament, that would also mean that since Goku said what the Omni King destroyed, that would bring back the other 6. Now, to make a very interesting plotline, or at least an interesting story for the upcoming arc, what they can do is that when everyone goes back to normal, everyone goes back to Earth, and all the gods go back to their worlds, what could happen is Whis and Beerus can call Goku and say, we need to come here quick, we need to talk to you, and then as Goku gets there, Whis can inform Goku like, alright, so you brought back, you know, the 12 universes and we're all here, but you kind of brought back the other 6 as well, which means that there aren't any, you know, there aren't 12 universes anymore, now there's 18, and the problem for that is because in some of these other universes you brought back, bad things used to happen, which kind of, you know, made the Omni King the way he was, in the mood that he was to destroy them. So you kind of brought this upon yourself because now we have a problem. There's a couple of deities that feel a little bitter towards what happened with the Omni King and they're looking for revenge or something along those lines. Because I hate the idea that every god is good. Don't you guys hate that shit? Every single god of destruction is all goody goody two shoes, respect and justice, justice and respect. Screw that shit, man. I want to see at least one god go against the grain and saying, fuck the angels, fuck the other Hakaishin, fuck the Omni King, fuck the Daishinkan, I am the destroyer, I am me, this is my universe, you don't come here and touch that shit. I was given this position, and this is where I stand. So, for me, I think that it would be a nice thing to see the other 6 gods, or at least, like, hear about them and get some imagery if they don't want to bring them back. But if you were to bring back those universes, I would have them be involved in some way, shape, or form in causing there to be a new arc and a new story unfolding. However, that goes back into your second question. After the universe survival arc, is it possible to see a new threat or a problem? Surely, there has to be a problem that arises from this. I mean, you can't just go home, you know, nilly-dilly and just, you know, happen to continue your life. There's bound to be a new threat. Someone in this tournament, whether it be a god or an angel or somebody's bound to get salty over something. So at some given point, there is going to be a new threat, because if, and only if, they decide to end Dragon Ball Super here, it'll suck. It'll really suck. It'll really, really suck, because there's so much material to go off of and create new stories, new enemies, new arcs. I wouldn't see why they would decide to end it there, which is why I believe they will continue. But I think that after the universe survival arc, whenever it decides to end, we will have a very key point as to what's going to happen next, and we're going to get definitive information as we go into the summer and stuff. But for me, if I would like to see a new arc unfold, first of all, I want to see Vegeta interact with Kaba on his planet just to see how that's like, or at least get like a few filler episodes when they're there and Goku and Vegeta are like, whoa, so like these are the Saiyans from Universe 6 and stuff, like something different along those lines. But I feel as if after this tournament we're bound to get a new threat. What that may be is unknown. Now, to answer your third question for Jiren in terms of development for character, no, don't act like Toppo. Please don't act like Toppo. If Jiren begins to act like Toppo, that would really disappoint me, because I personally want to see Jiren as more like Hit. Hit is serious, Hit is quiet. I want to see Jiren like that, except I also want to have him have like some sort of cocky attitude. Like, Hit doesn't really have like a cocky attitude. He's very serious, he's very quiet, because that's what assassins are. For Jiren, I want him to be quiet, serious, but at the same time have like this bravado, sort of like Cell did, because Cell had his serious moments, but at the same time Cell would brag. Cell would say stuff like, oh, do you think you're more worthy enough to fight a warrior of my caliber, and stuff like that, like just being cocky, but also kind of like, you know, not being too much of a goofball like Toppo. That's just my opinion, of course. Now, to answer your fourth question, Bra, I would love to see Bra and Pan in an episode together, like just having shenanigans. Like, for example, if Piccolo is the guy that's gonna babysit them, have these two little baby girls just, you know, give them a headache and going about flying all over the place and stuff, like just having a great time. You know, just I would love to see a filler episode with these two. Now, do I think she's gonna have the same amount of time as Pan? I'm not sure. Probably. I could see that happening down the line, but I want to see those two in an episode together. I think that'll really sell. But anyways, I want to say thank you so much for the questions, Ruth, and I hope you have a fantastic day, my friend. And now moving on to the next question, which is from Victor Torres. I got one question. Do you think the Spirit Bomb can make a comeback in the tournament? Well, first of all, thank you for the question, Victor. Now, to answer that question simply, no. First of all, how is Goku gonna have enough time and enough energy to formulate a Spirit Bomb in the world of Void? He can't possibly get any energy within the world of Void like that. Like, first of all, I don't think anyone would allow him to do that. Like, there is no fighter that's gonna sit back and say, whoa, like he's making a Spirit Bomb. No, they're gonna be like, oh hell no, get that dude before he launches that shit at us. And if Goku were to, let's say if Goku by some miracle created a Spirit Bomb, that'll be scary, because that shit alone would take out like half, if not more, of the competitors at the tournament. Now, in terms of making a comeback in the tournament, no. In terms of making a comeback in the actual show down the line in another arc or two, yes, it is possible. We haven't seen Goku do a Spirit Bomb in forever, since the Kid Buu arc, you know, since the Kid Buu story, because so far he hasn't used the Spirit Bomb at all. Aside from seeing Trunks kind of make his own Spirit Bomb and use that against Zamasu, we haven't seen Goku do it so far in Dragon Ball Super. So is it possible to do a Spirit Bomb in the world of Void? I don't think it is, but it'll be a cool thing if he does it, you know, in another arc or in a different story. But as of right now, there is going to be no Spirit Bomb, bro. But anyways, Victor, I want to say thank you so much for the questions, and I hope you have a fantastic day, my friend. Now moving on to the next question, which is from Ecliptic Zelda. I'm new to your channel and I absolutely enjoy your content. Thank you, man. Keep up the good work, Alex. Anyways, here are my questions. Question 1, what do you think Goku and Vegeta's new form will be if Akira Toriyama decides to give him a power-up? He stated that he wanted to use white as their new color, but decided not to because the color clash of the enemy Zamasu, but we'll save it for another time. Question 2, which universe do you think is most likely to be erased from the Omni King in the Tournament of Power? Question 3, as of right now, only 8 universes are participating in the tournament, while the other 4 are excluded due to them being a lot stronger. Do you think it'll be possible if we will be able to see those universes' strongest warriors, since we know that Universe 11 will be the most formidable in the tournament because of Jiren and Toppo and the Pride Troopers? Well, thank you so much for the questions, bro. To answer your first question, you are correct. Toriyama wanted to do a white-haired form before, but after it having to clash with the white-haired enemy, that being Merge Zamasu and Zamasu, it wouldn't really fit. For me, I think it's best is if they actually save the new form for down the road. I mean, of course, I do want to see Goku and Vegeta achieve a new form, and I'm pretty sure you do as well. But I think that in order for this to make sense, and for them to achieve a quote-unquote white-haired form, it'll really have to fit the story. And I think that to a degree, this kind of fits Goku's story since he's up against the odds of fighting, 70 other people. So obviously he's going to feel down. He's going to feel like he needs more than just Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken to, exceed those limits. So I think that if that were to happen and he were to be pushed, I think that it'll ultimately fit the story. However, do I think he's going to save it for another time? It's unknown. I mean, who's to say that only Goku might get it and not Vegeta? It's kind of like, it's iffy right now because we don't know for sure as to what they're going to do. It could be a white-haired form, or it could be something else. I would definitely prefer white, and I would have this be like the pinnacle of being a Saiyan instead of them continuously having to unlock form after form after form after form after form after form. So do I think it's bound to happen? It's possible, and I think for Goku's case, if there was a right time for them to do that, it'll be here. But that all varies on the situation and the overall, direction and storytelling. Now, to answer your second question, do I think, well, which universe do I think is going to be most likely to be erased first? I think definitely Universe 9. I can see Universe 9 going down first. Not only because they're the weakest, but we know that they're kind of predictable. So now we at least know that if, Bergamo and Basil and Lavenda were to be thrown out, and, the other fighters that consist of Universe 9, warriors, I could definitely see them going first, and I can definitely see Ro, having to make like one last comment before he dies or like something like that. So for me, I think that the universe that will most likely be destroyed first will be Universe 9. I really can't see any other universe, just being the first to go out, especially if Universe 9's the weakest. But then again, I could be wrong. Universe, 3 or Universe 1 might go down or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, just any other universe could go down first. But I think that Universe number 9 is bound to go first. I just have that feeling. Now, to answer your final question in terms of seeing the other strongest fighters, it's unknown as to what they're gonna do. For me, I would only assume that the Omni King doesn't really give a shit about the mortal rankings and is gonna make the other universes fight, which would be really cool. But I think that ultimately enough, due to his, ways and laws of having to exclude the other 4, I doubt we're gonna see them in action, and I really doubt that we're gonna see any of their fighters in action. But then again, I think that they're definitely gonna swerve us, and I think the Omni King is gonna be like, you know what, the hell with that. We're gonna do something to involve the other 4. So I don't know, we have to see at least something going further into this before we can definitely conclude as to what may or may not happen. But as of right now, I don't see the other 4 competing. So anyways, Mr. Zeta, thank you so much for the questions, bro, and I hope you have a fantastic day. And once again, guys, I do want to say thank you all so very much for watching. I truly hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure to go ahead and slap a like down below. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And also, guys, one more thing, I do want to say, if you guys are not following me at Twitter, follow me at Twitter, guys. I'm going to link the Discord link in there so you guys can go ahead and talk to me live, and so we can go ahead and just talk Dragon Ball Super and whatnot. So once again, guys, drop your comments down below. Thank you all for watching. Tune back in for more, and I'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Take it easy, guys. Peace.